here's a follow-up question, because this, I'm not going to tell you how this turned out. I want to see what you say first. But a friend of mine had this situation where he was in his 40s, and his mom had remarried. So his, whatever, 67-year-old mom had remarried to another guy who also had children. And in their wills, each of them had each other as the sole benefactor.
Oh, the two parents.
Right. Which made it a little bit weird, because whichever one passed away first, then the entirety of both estates went to the children of the one who survived. Now, it sounds like what would you do in that situation? What would you once they passed away? It's too late already. But if you had been advising them earlier, what would you have done? Because obviously they didn't think of the repercussions that the entire wealth would go to either one side or the other, depending on who died first.
Yeah, when there's a blended family, it's tricky, and everyone's criteria of how they want their siblings and the dependents or beneficiaries treated when they pass on is a little bit different. But generally, like you've got the new husband and wife and her kids and his kids. If she passed on first, you would hope that we have sat and done a will with her that says, okay, there's a percentage or there's some sort of view of the assets that you may have had before you got hooked up with your new partner. And let's say you had $1 million worth of assets and then you remarried. Perhaps, just perhaps, a percentage of that million could probably be left to in a testamentary trust to your actual kids, and then you leave a percentage to your new partner. Now, you decide what the percentages are, but you should not forget about the kids. And in Australia, those kids could have challenged and probably had a very good case in law, and probably had a good challenge about getting some of the money back. If, however, if she was nervous about having that conversation, well, there's two things. One is she doesn't have to show him her will. She can go off and do her will, and even if they did wills together, next week she could go and do a new will, and it supersedes the old will. So and I've seen that. I've seen it with lawyers, lawyers that are married. It's really weird. Or if she had a retirement account in Australia, a superannuation account, you can leave your superannuation account to your children as beneficiaries. And the thing about the superannuation account is it bypasses the estate. It never becomes an estate asset. What that means is it was never his to be, unless she leaves nothing. If she doesn't write anyone down that, it goes to the estate and then it's his, because that's how the will wrote it down. But if she wrote the kids down, it never enters the estate. The kids get looked after, at least a portion, unless mum's thought about something, even though she was scared to tell the new husband she was doing this. And because it never hit the estate, then he can never challenge the estate for the money because it was never part of his estate. So in our country, in Australia, that's one of the things. Look, every jurisdiction is pretty hard, and if there's one area of law across most Western countries, and just probably every country really, estate law. It's just, I'm hearing stories in Central America where you might have successive owners of properties, but like 3 or 4 generations down the track, someone had an attachment to the property and they're coming back and claiming that they can have that property back. Like just weird stuff, like really old, even in Italy, really old sort of just kind of weird property family law, and you've got to be really careful. Like that really in theory is a state law as well that's come out of that stuff. So, mate, here's mindful, but look, you've got to have those conversations when everyone likes each other, because you can't have that. You're like, hey, hey, we're married. Okay, let's put our wills together. Okay, yeah, I want to leave your kids something. I want to leave my kids something. Okay, cool. We love each other. Yeah, I don't care. When you're fighting, like that's it. I'm like, too hard. Do it early when everyone loves each other. It's so much easier.
It was interesting to see your answer, because in my mate's case, the father died in a car accident, and it happened exactly as you said it might. It ended up a court case.
Yeah.
Because the mother got all the assets and then tried to pass it on only to her children, and left his
Really
children
common.
totally out. And then they said, no, we get at least half of dad's estate. And I don't know, I don't really know what the outcome was, but it's funny that you said it could end up in court, because that's exactly what happened in their case.
I would expect they would have won a chunk and then given the lawyers a smaller chunk.
Are you sure it wouldn't have been the other way around? They would have won a large chunk, and then the lawyers kept most of it.
They never lose. Never lose. God bless the lawyers. Lawyers that are watching out there, we love you. We love you.